Okay, welcome holographic dreamers. This is the part 2 of the Focals review. So we're doing reviews of hardware and software and enterprise solutions exclusively on augmented reality, and we try to do them every week. So keep following us, subscribe, and you'll see amazing devices that are going to change the future of our work as well as our lifestyle. So 6 months ago, I did a review of the Focals. A few weeks after getting it, and being just comfortable with it. Now the big test is, does that stick? Technology that makes sense is a technology that sticks. So did I still use them 6 months later? Well, the answer, we'll see it in a little bit. First, I want to go over a few of the features that I didn't cover last time on the Focals, which includes the Twitter reply as well as the the Google Slide feature. So controlling your presentation over the computer from the Focals. So that's something that I want to show you today, and I think it's a really cool features that you can have on there. So the Twitter feature, I don't use it a lot. I'm not always on Twitter. I don't get that much reply to. Hopefully it will come in a later date, but for now that's not the case. So I will acknowledge that, and then on the PowerPoint, let's go over it. Then after that, I'll tell you what I'm using the Focals for and if I'm still using them 6 months later. So in the meantime, I'm going to turn on the Focal app and give you a little screen share of what I'm seeing from the Focals. And hopefully that will work, because last time, a second ago, we just crashed. So I'm going to try again and see if this time it works. So let me start the screen share. Okay. So I'm going to go here so you can see the screen share here. And so that's my calendar. And I'm going to go to the left where there is a Twitter mention. So after now, which the company mentioned me personally. So I can go on this one and I'm going to open up the reply, and I can at that point, see the number of likes. I can reply with a quick reply. And I can just dictate a reply. Actually, I'm currently doing the review and it seems to be working pretty well. I'm gonna send that. So here we go. So that's the Twitter feature. So you get your reply. You can on the go really fast respond to the reply. So the other feature I want to show you guys, and this one is something that I use a little bit more. I'll maybe not use it in a very high-profile presentation space, but I probably will use it for a meetup or a smaller type of presentation. So let me go to, let me make sure I'm still recording so you guys can see. Where is it? Here it is, Google Connect. So I'm going to connect to Chrome. On my computer here, actually I should record my computer at the same time so you guys can see that. On my computer here, I'm getting a little code. Start recording. So I'm getting a little code that appears into the Focal extension. I'm going to re-enter that code in there. So it's A, E, B. And if that would be live, you guys could actually connect with me and see what I'm seeing. It's not very secure, but who cares? That's not the point. So now you can see my presentation here. This is a presentation we did at AFRAX for the Air Force. And then if I go in there, I set presenter view. At that point, the presentation enter another mode, and you can see that on my, I can see here, so you guys can see both screens at the same time. So you can see here that I'm seeing the notes, the speaker note, just in front of me, and actually can move from one slide to another slide just with the little guy with the little ring here, which is the controller. And thank you, Focals. And I can go from slide to no, that wasn't okay. Here we go. I can go from slide to slide, and you guys can see that. And actually, this is pretty convenient to be able to have your notes there. You look, one thing you have to notice, and I've noticed that when I sometimes turn on the Focals, and you can see on my screen as I'm recording that the slide change. So as the slide change in the back, I know which slide I'm on, and I have all my notes. And if I suddenly blank or have a panic attack, I can actually read it and get back to it. Or if I fear missing a point on one of the slides, I can go to it and see it there. So this is a cool feature, not applied to a lot of people. Not everybody is speaking, but usually you do a presentation, and it's cool when you do your slide presentation to be able to have your cheat sheet just in front of you without having to be in front of your computer or with a piece of paper. So I found that pretty cool, and it's kind of one of those use cases that people always mention when you talk about AR. So I'm gonna take a pause on this right now. Those are the features. I'm gonna stop those two recordings. Okay, I'm pausing this one, and I'm gonna pause this one too. And we'll get back to that. So, one thing that I want to mention. So now that you guys, I've been able to stop the screencast, because it overheats a little bit when there's a screencast running, which usually they're not. So yeah, let's go back to why. This is part 2. Those are the 2 new features I showed you that I didn't cover last time. But the real thing is that it's been 6 months and I still have them. I use them every day during the weekday when I'm at work, and I found them really convenient. Basically, it's a little bit like if everybody has a smartwatch, you've seen the value of it. You have your phone in your pocket and you want a notification, you just turn your wrist and you can see it and you can quickly reply to it. Now, imagine you don't even need the watch and you have it just in front of you. You don't even have to pull up your hands and look at it. It just appears. That makes a huge difference. So I use the focals every day, a lot for the notification on the calendars. That's very useful. I get my notification and know when I'm about to miss a meeting or I need to go for a meeting. And that allows me to kind of turn off all notifications on my phone, and they're all silent now, and most of my computer notifications also are silent. So I get only my notification up there, and the only one that's important to me. The other part is messaging. So this is probably the main feature I use on the focals, is responding to messages. So maybe I'm going to show you that part. And actually you've seen it when I replied to the tweet. The voice recognition is incredible. I speak French, I speak English, either one I choose, they will detect it and you will just write it back. And you write it perfectly as I want it. Like there's 99% of the time it's correct, which is amazing. I mean, a lot of dictations, a lot of the serious stuff I did before on the watches were really, really not there. It's 97%, 95%, that's not enough. If you want to be reliable, if you want to feel it like a tool you can use and be kind of comfortable with it, you need it at 99%, if not 100%. So very rarely I get a mismatch. Sometimes it's because somebody else is talking at the same time in the room with me, or there's a really big ambient noise. At that point, they'll get confused and the voice recording will go off. Otherwise, I'm very impressed. It's been always pretty accurate. So I use that a lot. So it's either from Slack to all the messages in the SMS messages, but also all different apps from Hangout to different chat app that I have on the system that has this reply features in the notification. I just use that for replying to messages. And I can get a full conversation sometime. It cannot go really long. There's some kind of like, it crams itself after a little bit. So let me try to show that into a Landcast. The thing is I had to restart the focals a second ago because they were overheating because of the screencast. So let me check if I have notifications since we start talking. So let me check. Oh, let me first record so you guys can see what I'm saying. That's unfair otherwise. Okay. So if you want to go to the notification that you have received, you go on the left with the focals and with the controller, the little guy, and at that point you can see all your notifications are there. So no, I didn't receive any notification. It's Friday. It's pretty calm. I can see, I don't know what this one was, but I think this was just a message from, yeah, that's because I used the presentation tool. They give you those pursuits, those reward. I think it's this gamification for engaging, for you to engage in the app. So, and using the feature. So let me see if there's something else here. No. So that's a bit lame. So I'm gonna create a fake notification and try to make that work in there so we can have something to talk about in a second. So let's send myself an email. So we'll see when the email arrives. I'm going to turn on the screencast so you guys can see it when the email arrives, and you can see that. So lenscast, sorry, it's not screencast, lenscast. I'm going to turn that on. And whoa, I got it. So let me select it. So I got a notification. This is a Gmail. And it says, important, the focal are not on sales anymore, stop the review. I'm not gonna stop the review. I'm gonna reply to that message and explain why I should not stop the review. Yes, I know, but the focals too are coming. It missed on that one. You may have seen the mistake there. Anyway, it was for myself, so it's gonna be fine. So here this was funny. So I was able to. So let me see if I see the history of the notification there. Okay, no, those are. Yeah, this one is there. Okay, this one was the other one. And as I sent a message to myself, you can see the reply that's coming. So you can see the reply as well. So that's really that's. I'm gonna stop the recording here. This is I would say 70% of the usage I do with the focals is I receive a message, I reply really fast to it. Either because I'm in free, I'm in the car, I'm walking, or even I'm in front of my computer, I will just dictate back my message. I can be in the kitchen, I can be taking care of the kids, I can anything I'm doing where I don't want to pull out my phone at that moment. I can just reply to that message right away. And actually just dictating the message as conveniently as it is with this, make it even more appealing than just talking to my watch, for example, or talking to my phone. I don't know why. It makes it so much more natural. I have to say, it can be weird for people from the outside. So, for example, the other usage I use the focals to is for my to-do list. So I can show you, I'm using the to-do on, I go on my personal account, and I'm going to show you my to-dos. So let me turn on again the lenscast, and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to turn that back on. So the to-dos is fairly simple, minimalist, I would say, even on the focals. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to screen this. Problem is that yes, I'm getting messages now. It works. Can I get that full screen? Any important message in there? No important message. So you guys can see my messages. So I'm gonna record my screen, and you guys can see the rest of it. Here we go. So what I do a lot with the it's this to-dos. So those to-dos are actually, what's happening here? Oh, yes. Is it recording? Yeah, it is recording. So those are actually from here in my Gmail or in my phone. I can enter the to-do. So I have a list in my task. That's the focals, and you can see here that I'm entering my grocery list basically. It can be used for other things, but in the case of grocery, I found it really useful, and it worked really, really well for me. So I insert the task. If I'm not in front of the computer, I can just dictate. Don't forget the milk. That didn't work out. So, milk. It's funny. I think there's something against me today. Let's try something better. I don't know. There's a lot of background noise. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm gonna try this. milk. Um, cereals. That one worked. I don't know what he got against my milk. But then, so either from the focals or either from the computer, I get those tasks to do, enter it in there, and those are my grocery list. So each time I'm missing an item, I put it in there. And when I go to the store, I just turn on the focals, look what I need to buy, and just check the one I'm buying as I'm buying them. And that's actually super fun and efficient. Instead of having my little paper list and my pen as I'm with the cart and trying to pick up things, it's just in front of me and really fast. So that's one of those use cases I found really interesting to be working really well. So I'm sure there's others that I'll discover over time more, but this one was a surprising one that I enjoyed a lot. So that's to cover the focals in terms of the way I'm currently using it. There's a little bit of other features. Not the one I'm using, but it's automated in there. It's the one that's actually giving me the flight information. So if I have a flight, there's like Google, like the Google Assistant is doing that really well. The focals are doing that really well as well. They will give me ahead of time when my flight is going to go, which gate, the departure, as much information I can get. They can get. They're providing me in the focals in the time as I'm moving to the airport or as I'm going through the different part of the flow of taking a plane. And those are kind of valuable information they display in the headset, and they're pretty detailed. So that's another one. And another last thing that I'm never using is the sport feature. It's not that it doesn't work, it's that I don't know if it works. I'm not using it because I'm not a sport fan, and there's not yet a lot of soccer stuff in there, which is what I'm pretty much interested in at this point. So that's why. But maybe it works really well. The concept is that your sport team, when there's scores and there's games, you'll get the notifications that appears within the focals in real time as it's happening. But I cannot validate that it works. This is a theory, so this is for the info. So the last part, I think that's covered all. So now a little bit of kudos to the company that created this device. I think North from the Talmic Lab did an amazing job from evolving from where they are to creating this concept. I think they really nailed it. Surprisingly, they made something that worked. There's a lot of other devices that are head-mounted display that you can use. Even the Google Glasses had their chance and they failed. I believe this one is going to succeed. This first version is a little bit heavy. It's a bit cumbersome. It's but it's the first version. I go out and nobody knows that this is an AR device. Until either they're techie and they recognize it, or they're really looking at me and see the little reflection sometimes that appears in there. Other than that, they don't know. They don't know it's an AR device. They think it's the regular glasses. So I think they nailed it on that part. And the other part that they really nailed is the quality of the features they have in there. It's a very proprietary system. There's no API. I cannot create an app for it. Hopefully, I hope that we will be able to do that soon, because I think this is very important, especially for us developers. And I could not cover any of the SDK because there's none. There's a lot of external things are happening, and I'm sure that's going to happen soon. But without those apps, they've curated and created a set of features that are really simple, they're really to the point, and they really nail down on some AR use cases that has some value to the AR glasses. So those are the things that works. There's a few things in those devices that I've tested that don't work. There's an Alexa integration, sounds awesome, sounds a lot of fun, and I never got this one to work. I mean, unless I do the 5 question that they put in there into the app and they tell you to do, like directions or tell me what's around here, where can I go to. Even that sometimes doesn't work. The Alexa integration there, very disappointing. That part didn't work at all for me. The other part that didn't work really well, it's the fitness tracking. I couldn't get that working really well at the Fit app in my phone. I don't know why, it doesn't synchronize. That never got me to anything, and I didn't found any value out of it. intrinsically, because I'm not doing any fitness with it, not running, so that didn't get me anywhere. So so those are the things that don't work, and I want to finish with again the company focals and the focal 2. So you cannot buy this version of it anymore, unfortunately. But don't worry, the preview we've seen the focal 2s, if we keep the same software features with the new frame and the new structure that they have, like the new look they have, it's going to be incredible. And I think they're going to get to the next level on accessing more consumer market, which no other AR device than the Google glasses until now have been able to do. Maybe the Bose AR, but they're only an audio device. I was able to do that. Last point I want to close on is their support. So I had an issue with those little pads. So you see those little pads here with my hair. It got tangles in there, and I lost one of them. So I just dropped them an email, tell them I lost the pad, and I got one within less than a week. I think like 3 days after, I got a new set of pad that I could put back in there. So really good support. They're fairly responsive. The website is well done for all the documentation. If there's feature you don't know how to use, you can use it on the website, and there's it's pretty well explained. I never had to be really stuck. Maybe I should look more detail into the Alexa part, because I'm not able to make it work. But other than that, I think overall it works pretty well. So yeah, really impressed. I think they are onto something. I hope they'll get all the funding they need to move forward with the Focals 2, and that we can see another version of that head-mounted display. I think this is really an in-between for AR, where they really nailed down and they found a real use case to make it work for just a head-mounted display that's very simple, without having to wait for the full feature AR that we'll get with the Nreals and the Magic Leap and HoloLens of the world, when they'll be able to reduce all those computing systems to a size that will look like that. In the meantime, I think we have something that's compelling. So I'm using them. It's in 6 months that I use the focals on my head, and I'm looking forward to using them until the focals 2 come out and I'll be able to buy them. And at that point, I'll make another review. Okay, guys, all us graphic dreamers, thank you. Don't forget to follow our reviews on Twitter, and don't forget to put your VR headset to view them. You can get the Oculus Go, you can get the Quest, you can get any of those inexpensive. You can have, if you have a Daydream that's still working around, you can use that. Everything that's VR and that can run YouTube will be able to show our videos, and it's much more fun, and you see much more of all the screens we display. Then you don't have to move around, and I look a little bit better on in VR, not as squished as I'm on that version that you're currently looking on the desktop. So please look it up on VR. It's that's why we're doing it. So you can see the product in 3D, closer with more details, and